of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by the quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and the facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondents will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. Board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chair and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of the material submitted by the staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to for the city attorney. At this time, I will ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Cases will be taken out of order tonight to accommodate respondents and witnesses present. And I'll address that before we go on to the next item. This evening, we're going to move item E2, discussion of the new motions. And if they're approved tonight, we will use them tonight. Okay, the next is approval of the minutes. Has everyone received a copy of the minutes for April? Any changes? Call for a motion.
Move to approve. I'll second.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Okay. So what we're going to do, everyone's gotten a copy of the proposed motions by Mr. Mueller. And I had a chance to read them. And what we want to do is, if you have any comments, we'll discuss them. If you are all in agreement, as I am, go ahead. We will approve them as our new motions, and we'll use them tonight.
So a couple questions. I guess first, has the city attorneys and the code board directors and city council all taken a look at these as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
You have too, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. And you guys don't have any problems with this? Okay. Secondly, I guess just for my own edification, we have one that says violation, complied violation. Then we have another one that says complied in existing. What's the difference?
Well, go ahead.
It's like, I can address that. That is those cases where, when they come, some of the violations have been corrected by the time they get here, and some have not. You
Okay.
actually had a boilerplate of that before, where you wouldn't be imposing a fine for those that were corrected, but are imposing a fine for those that are still remaining.
Gotcha, okay, great, thank you. And repeat that specific line reduction. Okay, those are all my questions.
Any other questions? Want to get a motion to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motions will be used this evening. So we're done with this, the old plastic one, and we'll get a new one. All righty, with that, Mr. Mueller, City Attorney, Board Attorney, would you give us our ex parte?
Absolutely. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of the board if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any of the matters that are coming before you this evening. If you've had verbal communications, if you could please disclose the sum and substance of those communications, when and where those communications occurred, and with whom they occurred. If you've had any written communications, if you'd please disclose the nature of those communications, and then present those written communications to the city clerk so that they can go in the record.
I've had none.
None?
None. None. I've had none.
Thank you. Okay, we're ready for our first case this evening. Oh, we're going to the lien reduction.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance Director. At this time, I would like to introduce this lien reduction petition request in case number 09-1352 and 11-2008, City versus Zoe L. McWayne, property located at 402 Dunedin Avenue with a lien amount totaling $58,400. In the first case, 09-1352, originated back on July of 2009 for unclean swimming pool contents. This case was heard at the August 12, 2009 Code Board hearing with a $100 a day fine, which accrued a lien amount of $38,500. With 17 inspections by code staff totaling $570, and the clerk's cost of $130, which totals $700. In the second case, 11-2008, originated back in July of 2011 for debris accumulation, overgrown conditions, unclean swimming pool, and a broken rear window. This case was presented to the Code Board on August 10, 2011, and a fine of $50 per day that accrued a lien of amount of $19,900. With 18 inspections by code staff totaling $600 and clerk's cost of $130, which totals $730. Adding both cases, city costs are $1,430. So in both cases, the city cost is $1,430. Based on a health and safety issue with the swimming pool and the broken window, my recommendation to the board this evening is to lower the lien amount from $58,400 to $7,200. I'll stand by for any questions. And the petitioner is here tonight.
Okay, this total then is the total sum,
I'm sorry,
the total sum of the liens and,
the total of the amount is $58,400
yeah,
in two of the cases.
okay. Mr. Snelling.
So as far as the petitioner,
I can't,
You
it's
are.
okay.
You're
You
on.
just get- Yeah, you just get closer, yeah.
petitioner stated in his or her,
Is your mic
not
on? Because
on.
I see a mic over, I'm sorry, but I see a mic right there. So,
Try that one.
that's
There you go.
much better,
Now
sir.
you're on.
Much better.
All right, so they were, it looks like they're contending that this lease pendens
Right.
was initiated prior to the liens themselves being filed, and that the implication here is that they would no longer, that the liens would no longer be applicable for this
Right.
property.
Originally, there was 3 cases that had liens against the property. One of them was taken after the lien, lis pendens was filed, so we deleted, we're not presenting that case to the board tonight. We're only based on 2 cases we're presenting were prior to the Liz pendants that was filed,
Okay.
okay?
And do you have any breakdown of your assessment of reducing it from 58, whatever, down to 7,000?
Well, okay, what I did was, in this case, because the health and safety issue of the pool and the broken window, that means the structure was unsecured. What I did was, normally, we used to, years in the past, would go 10% of the lien amount. So that, from $58,400, 10% would be $5,800. Then I also did the city cost. In both of the cases, I gave you the number of $1,430. So I added that to the 10%, which brought me to the amount of $7,200.
Okay. And the last
That's
question.
that's how I came to that number.
Okay. The last question, I promise, is, it appeared to me that this could be a repeat violation. I mean, they happened at 2 different times where it was the same basic violation, but
It could have been, but it wasn't presented to the board that way. So Officer Scrozo, years ago, presented this as just a regular notice of violation case. So we can't make up something that wasn't presented to the board. So yes, it could have been a repeat violation, but it wasn't presented to the board that way.
okay.
Okay, understand? Okay,
Yep, thanks.
okay. Mr. Pogorich?
Thank you. So all this stuff happened back in 2011. When was it finally cured?
Well, one case was in '09, and the other case is in 2011.
Okay, 2009, 2011. When did they come into compliance?
Okay. So the 2009 case came into compliance they closed it on September 29, 2010.
A year later,
Okay.
roughly, yeah.
And the other one, Kristen, if you could help me out, I'm just going through my papers here now, but
October 17th.
Oh, I see, July and then September of the same year. Okay, so I guess my real question is, what's it been doing for 8 years?
well, I know, maybe the petitioner can explain that to you
Okay,
more so. I know that it was an investment company that purchased the property,
okay,
and then they sold the property.
okay.
So, but maybe the petitioner can explain that.
Okay,
more
I'd like to
you.
hear that explanation.
Any other questions?
Those are all my questions.
Okay,
Any other questions? There being none,
okay.
thank you.
Sir?
Good evening. My name is Jesse Maruka. I work
Can
for
you come a
LTD.
little closer to the mic, please?
My name is Jesse Maruka. I work for LTD Family Trust. And to answer your question, I believe it was your question about the home. We purchased the home last year at a foreclosure auction. And I would assume that was probably the condition where it was from when it
Okay, so
fell out of
you're.
repair in
you're-
2011.
You haven't had possession of it since 11?
No, sir.
Okay, okay,
No, we took possession last year, I think it was in May, and that's when we had our first insurance paperwork that we purchased, and, yeah, that
okay.
it was in May.
Thank you, that answers my question, thank you very much.
Any other questions? So how do you find the property? Temple Terrace is good?
Oh, yeah, we love it. Things are getting harder, obviously, but yeah, we do love it. We love Temple Terrace. Any of the houses that we've had here, we try and make them look like they belong back in the neighborhood. And I think code enforcement said, the house looks great compared to especially compared to what it used to be. And I wasn't sure what information you guys needed or not. I didn't know if you wanted to see the condition of the home prior to this, and what we've done to the house to hopefully ask for reductions, so,
We've seen the before pictures.
yeah. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There being no other questions, I call for a motion.
Move in case number 091352 and case number 11-2008, City versus Zoe L. McQueen. I move that we've reduced the amount of the lien, the original amount of lien of $58,400 to $7,200, as long as the loan is paid within 30 days or, where are we here? by June 11th, which is the day before our next meeting. Otherwise, the fine will revert back to the original amount of $58,400.
I'll second.
Second.
Did you read that off of the motions that were approved?
No?
Reason being, I
We have
think,
a new one.
I was under the impression with your procedures that these lien reductions get a recommendation to city council. Is that-
They do.
All right, so, and also, I apologize in advance. I considered these to be fine reductions, not lien reductions, so I wrote it as a fine reduction. If you wanted a lien reduction, I can make that change and just want you to make the change in the sample you have. So if you want to use lien, just use lien instead of fine.
Okay, well, I can modify that, because you're right, it does have to go in front of council. So I'll modify my motion just to include the fact that it needs to be paid within 30 days of the city council's approval of our decision, or it would revert back to the original amount of $58,400.
No,
Okay.
yeah, second.
Okay. Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? No nays. Thank you.
You don't care?
So we'll have to remember to use these the rest of the,
And again, Mr. Chair, if I can, if the board wants, just let me know if you want to use lien or fine in these, and I will change it accordingly. Lien?
I would like
I'll
lien.
move it, I'll change it to
Lien
lien, but
unanimous.
realize you got the word fine, you got to
Right.
change to lien.
Okay. And we actually had to think.
Tonight. For that, I'll have to-
Tonight.
first case, please.
We have two on unfinished in the audience, so if we want to move to unfinished,
Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
they just got here.
Okay. Unfinished.
And then were either of you sworn in for unfinished?
No.
Okay. If you're going to speak, just stand up, please, and I'm just going to swear you in real quick. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Case number 185233, City versus Elvira L. Machado for the property located at 12609 North 52nd Street. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight.
Good evening, board members and Mr. Chairman. Lori Smith, Code Compliance Officer. Ms. Machado, or actually Maria Louise, is in the audience tonight and would like an opportunity to come up and address the council.
Okay.
Ms. Louise?
Hi, good afternoon. Hear about the tree again.
How are we doing with the tree?
What are we doing about the tree? We having progress. We have got most of it. It's by the curbside, but there's still some big logs that have, and especially a big one, that needs to be still cut. The saw broke down again. I have the receipt. It's at Home Depot being fixed. We thought it'd take a couple of days. It takes about 2 weeks. So that's where we're at. We need a little bit more time.
You got one big chunk left?
No, well, there's one big chunk, but there's
Yeah.
still like big ones that my son could not roll to. He took most of it to the curbside, but he could not handle the other ones by himself. He called a friend, but the friend didn't show up. We were hoping that most of it would be by the
Right.
curbside today, but couldn't manage it. Sorry.
Okay. Lori, do you want to say any more?
City recommendations are just to give her a little bit more time. She has got quite a bit of it out to the curb right now. There's probably about 10 more pieces that remain. Ms. Louise has been working on it, whatever the board feels. Code is just wanting to bring the house into compliance, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Question?
I'm not sure who this question is. I guess it's for the code officer. I assume that her plan is to wait until all the debris are out by the curb to have it picked up. By
Yes.
giving her an extra couple weeks, is that going to present any sort of issues with having what is out by the curb sit there for 2 weeks?
No, sir, I do not believe so. Ms. Louise will definitely call for a pickup as soon as she can get the remainder of the logs out at curbside. Like I said, there's only 10 left that remain. She'll be able to get those out and then call for the special trash
It's not
pickup.
going to kill her grass or anything? Or?
No, there's no grass in that little space because it's under a tree.
Okay.
And I called them today or yesterday to hold on the pickup because sometimes they go by and they decide to go and pick it up before everything is out to the curb. They said they would wait.
Okay.
Quick question.
Mr. Snelling?
So when do you think the saw will be back and repaired and back in your,
We took it a week ago, so it should be like one more week, a week and a half, you never know, but they said 2 weeks.
okay. So do you see any issues with having everything out on the curb by a month?
I always think that I won't be, but something always comes up, but I don't think so. This time we'll,
Is it possible, are those pieces small enough that they could be moved with using like a dolly?
no,
They're bigger than
no,
that?
they're very heavy.
Yeah, they're big.
Okay.
They're heavy.
All right, that's all I had, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Could I call for a motion?
I would move that in case number 18-5233, City versus Elvira L. Machado, that we give the respondent another month until June 11th, 2019, to bring the property into compliance.
Second.
Motion seconded. That's good for you?
Is it
Okay.
firewood or no? I might come pick it up.
No, you're not gonna.
I haven't seen it, but.
It's literally that big.
Oh, really?
It's huge.
You have to chop it up more.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's huge.
all right. Thank you. Next case, please. Oh, sorry. I didn't think we needed to,
There were
but
2 seconds, so.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? No nays. Thank you.
Case number 191067, City versus B&N Empire LLC for property located at 11001-03 North 56th Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight.
Ms. Smith?
Good evening, board members again. Checked with community development today, revealed a mechanical and building permit still hasn't been obtained. Petitioner, Mr. Ball, is in the audience this evening and would like to address the board.
Okay. Name and address, please.
Name is Raj Ball. Address is 10915 North 56th Street, Temple Terrace.
Can you come a little closer to
Yeah.
Mike?
So I was here about 30 days ago for the building permit. I knew I would have it in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it did not happen. I've been in continuous contact with the building department and the code enforcer throughout this whole month. Just getting the building permit in and getting it approved. There was a suite right next to it that we're building out as an office suite, which is actually dividing this suite up, which is this violation is part of. So instead of just getting one building permit for the wall and then also the building permit for the office suite, we just got one for it. So the piece for the office suite is taking a lot of back and forth from the department, saying that they need, some more information on the architect drawing, and then the general contractor gets out here, he puts it in, and then he brings it back, and that's where the time has actually taken. Currently, the building permit is, the last thing that they wanted was detail associated on the building permit for the fire-rated wall between it. We just got that completed today. I have sent the drawing directly to the department and also sent it to my general contractor, which will be here tomorrow morning with the final printout and present that. And I'm hoping that that would get my building permit approved.
A couple questions. One being the fact that you decided to combine the two, and would you have been in compliance with with getting the permit for the first issue? Or would that not have happened, being you're adding a firewall?
I actually had talked to Amir about this. The way that the whole 11003 suite dividing and the tenant not doing what they're supposed to have done and putting me in charge, me taking over, it would have been better if I just did it the way we put it all in one. If I left it on the 11001, then it would have to be, it's more of a questions and answers and, why wasn't this done before the fact? What was happening? And now why are you combining both of the suites? Why are you dividing it? So he said, let's just do that because that is the main wall that divides it. So we can put it all in the building permit.
Okay.
And I really hoped it would have been done in 2 weeks. I was very confident, but unfortunately it wasn't.
But you think now that it can be done within a couple of days?
I'm
Is that correct?
hoping, again, just, it's been a month and I've been in continuous contact with trying to get this completed. Like I said, the very last thing that they wanted us to do was put that fire rate details on the building permit, and we got that put in. Well, I sent it directly to the department, but the general contractor will be here tomorrow morning. They will review it, the department will review it tomorrow, and if everything goes well, we're good to go.
Good.
There was nothing else outstanding on that, but if they say, no, we need now, this, then I have to go and get that done.
Just keep on it.
Yeah. But I
Okay,
was
any-
very continuous. I was, proactive. I did not wait.
Any other questions? There being none? Thank you.
Thanks.
Call for a motion? Mr. Snelling?
Yes, I move that we extend the deadline for one more month for him to become in compliance.
I
Second?
second it.
Okay. Second by, was you, Mr. Buckley?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay, no nays. Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and take the first case on the hearings. Case number 190456, City versus SFAS Investments LLC for property located at 11813 North 51st Street. Case is before the board based on the alleged violation of Section 12861E6 fences appearance. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on January the 24th, 2019. My inspection revealed front and side yard fence in disrepair. At that time, I left a door hanger with a compliance date of the 19th of February, 2019. My inspection on February the 25th, 2019 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was issued with a compliance date of the 12th of March, 2019. Affidavit of service was hand-delivered to Alan Gear by Director Baroni. My inspection on April the 10th, 2019 revealed no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on the 24th of April, 2019. I have 3 pictures. Exhibit 1, the front fence in disrepair. Exhibit number 2 is the front yard corner fence in disrepair. Exhibit number 3 is the side yard fence in disrepair.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Thank you.
As of May 6, 2019, the site is now in compliance, and at this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm just looking for a finding.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Thank you.
Also, Mr. Chairman and board members, the violation was for fences appearance. The gentleman is in compliance. He came into compliance with fences appearance. That's what the violation is for. The gentleman actually had all the fence replaced, and the permit has been pulled for that.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions? There being none? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I call for a motion using the new form.
All right, I'll give it a shot. You want to go? I'll do it. Okay,
Maiden
thank
vote.
you. In case number 19-40456, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 11813 North 51st Street, and violated code sections 12-861 subsection E subsection 6. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer and we didn't have any other witnesses, and the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Plow. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. No nays. And note for the record that there was no petitioner present.
So the next case will be case number 190846, City versus Frank and Dolly Burns for property located at 5406 Rainbow Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12860 inoperative vehicles, outdoor storage equipment. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on February 14th of 2019. My inspection at the time noted that the yard grass to the residence was overgrown. There was household accumulations by the front door and driveway, along with 2 inoperative vehicles in the driveway with expired registrations. I left door hangers with a compliance date of February 18th, 2019. An inspection on February 18th, 2019 found no change, so I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of March 1st, 2019. Posted a notice at the door, as well as City Hall, mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the registered owner. I re-inspected the property on February 28th, 2019, at the request of the owner, who advised the property was now in compliance. I inspected the property and found that the violations were now in compliance, so I closed the case. On April 17th, 2019, I discovered another inoperative vehicle in the driveway of the residence with an expired registration. Since the violation occurred within 45 days, I've set it for the MCEB hearing. This time I have 4 photos I'd like to submit. Notice posted at the door, the inoperative vehicle in the driveway, the improper tag on the vehicle, and the improper decal attached to the tag of the vehicle.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Thank you.
I know your question. If you look at the sticker,
Yeah.
sticker has a number on it, the
Yeah.
tag number that it's supposed to be assigned to. It does not belong to that tag.
That was my question, yeah. So how do you do that?
They have an additional sticker somewhere, a current sticker, they just plop it on there, the way to tell it does not belong to that tag is the sticker, the number on the sticker should match the tag.
You can pull them off if you're
Okay.
As of today's date, though, the property is in compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Man, I want to just go smack it. That's what I do to mine.
Does
Are
that
there
tag
any-
at least belong to the same person?
That I can't tell you. And the vehicle has a current tag on it now.
Okay, any other questions?
And
Tag-
and the tag, well, I guess you don't know either. The tag that has the bad sticker on it, was that the right sticker for that car?
That I can't tell you.
Okay.
But the same tag is on the vehicle now with
With
the
the
sticker
right-
that matches that tag number.
Okay. Progress.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. There being no other questions, call for a motion.
I'll do this one. Tough act to follow, but I'll see it.
Come on, you can do it.
Okay,
Remember, we're giving out points.
that's right. No, well, Sean's not here, I don't know. All right. In case number 19-0846, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 2406 Rainbow Drive, Code Section 12-860. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Do I have a Second by Mr. Hubert. Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Nays? No nays. Next case, please. Oh, again, the note to the record, the petitioner was not present.
The next case will be case number 190924, City versus James B. Burns, for property located at 602 Courtney Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-1022 hot and cold water supply and Section 8-1021 sanitary facilities required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. City is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated on February 18, 2019 via email complaint from the city utility billing. The email indicated the water meter at the residence was pulled for non-payment and the home was occupied. This time I completed notice of violation with a compliance date of March 5, 2019. I responded to the residents and verified the water meter in the right-of-way had been removed. At this time, Mr. Burns, the owner of the residence, exited, and I conducted service on him with the notice. And this conducted inspections on March 5th, April 16th, and April 22nd, 2019, and found the residence still occupied. This time, I'd like to submit a screenshot showing the city services that the residence being inactive.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
I have 4 photographs taken on March 5th, April 16th, and April 22nd, indicating and showing that the residence is still occupied by Mr. Burns. One of the March 5th shows the vehicle in the driveway. April 16th shows the trash cans by the curb, but no vehicle in the driveway. And April 22nd shows the vehicle again in the driveway and the water meter still removed from the curb.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record. Just in curiosity, is there a hose connected to a neighbor?
That I can't tell you because the yard is overgrown. As of today's date, though, I did check with the utility building, and it's still inactive at the residence. There's no
Water.
water, no water.
When you spoke to Mr. Burns, what did he have to say about
Excuse me?
What did he have to say about the issue when you spoke to him?
Nothing. He just grabbed the notice, turned around and walked back into the house.
No intention to remedy anything?
No, there's a large lien at the house already referenced
Right.
other cases, so
Yeah, that's
that was brought into compliance.
Let me ask a quick question. Is this person the owner of the house, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I saw somebody else's
Somebody
name,
else's name.
name was on the water
Yes, sir.
bill.
There's, that person is deceased,
Ah,
so the account stayed in that name.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
I think you said that you saw trash cans out by the curb. Are they still picking up the trash there?
Yes, sir.
Even though there's no, I mean, it's all combined, there's no separate trash
The
bill?
city comes by and picks it up.
Okay. I guess that's for the best, but,
I mean, you have is one or the other. You can leave it there and it
Yeah.
accumulate, run all over the neighborhood.
okay, so that, but the name on that bill was for somebody that used to live there?
Rowan,
Okay. And that $1,200 plus or minus is still outstanding?
1,400, yes, sir, still outstanding.
Okay. Okay.
And no additional contact with the homeowner?
No, sir.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Silva, Officer Silva. Let it be noted that there was no petitioner present. And upon that, I call for a motion.
I guess I'll go for it.
Mr. Plow, thank you.
Good.
Tilting the chair the other way.
In case number 19-0924, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 602 Courtney Drive, and in violation of 8-102 subsection 1 and subsection 2. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before would be June the 11th. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violations continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: 1, the gravity of the violation; 2, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation; and 3, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine to be $100 per day.
Mr. Chair, just real quick for the purposes of the record, the deadline date would be June 11th, 2019.
Yes, sir, 2019.
Second.
Second, motion and second, discussion.
I would support that if it were 50. I would motion that. I'm not sure the correct way to do it, but I would support 50.
Well, okay.
Well, it's a serious health matter that they have no running water or sewage in there. And it doesn't seem like they're very much into the position of wanting to come into compliance.
It doesn't. I would.
And they're getting free trash picked up as well.
That's right, and they're getting free
Sure.
trash.
I would just want them to have the ability to actually make the payment. I think 100's a lot.
They've got 30
Well,
days.
they have 30
Yeah, they've got
days to
30
do
days.
it, and
They've
with
got 30
a,
days and they've had 4 months.
with an outstanding water bill of $1,400, if that's
Sure.
not initiative, I don't think $100 a day is, $50 a day would get him any more attention.
12th is the date of the meeting, we give it to the
Uh,
date.
he-
Yeah, I
he
honestly don't
also
think they
did-
pay it whether it's 50 or 100.
Right.
I
We
don't,
do?
we
Okay.
can
Well,
say
I
they haven't paid
I
that.
would still support 50. I wouldn't 100, but it sounds like I'm in the minority, so.
We'll take a vote.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Mr. Chair, it's been brought to my attention, the actual deadline date should have been the
12th.
June 12th. So if we could perhaps modify, just see if we
Well,
come up-
this one and the one, we had the other,
Was that I thought that was a complied one. I thought this was the first one where we had
This is the first one,
existing
yes. This is
violations.
the first one we had existing violations.
but our lien the continuations, I think we use the
I don't think
11th
we're
on
bound
those.
on the continuations by any specific date, but this is the first one
Okay.
where.
Where a
it had
fine will kick in.
We're good.
Fine kick in, yeah, so and normally when a fine kicks in, we do give them until the night of the meeting, so. Do we need a separate vote to modify the motion?
For this one, yes, I would
Okay.
highly recommend
What do we
modify to just the
modify it
date.
to, June the 3rd?
The next day, June 12th.
The night of the
Okay.
meeting.
You have to read that.
I'll modify my motion for the date of June the 12th of 2019.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One nay. Mr. Buckley with the nay. Thank you, Kristen.
Next case will be case number 191110, City versus Jessica Montgomery, for property located at 12908 Rainforest Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 2291, City Garbage Service Required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Director Tom Baroni. City is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening was discovered by code staff on January 23rd, 2019, when several properties in the northern zone were delinquent with their solid waste account. This property owner has been delinquent since April of 2016, when they purchased the property. The property is unoccupied, however, the utilities are actively connected, and I also observed garbage receptacles at the curb. On several occasions, I did have a dialogue with the respondent where she advised me that she was attempting to obtain an account online. She lives outside of Temple Terrace right now. So on February 26, 2019, a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of March 8, 2019. The notice letters were sent by email and confirmed delivery by Mrs. Montgomery on March 12, 2019. On April 25, 2019, a check with the building department noted no change in the garbage account. Therefore, this case was processed to the MCEB hearing tonight. At this time, I'd like to submit a photo that was taken by me on March 12, 2019, showing a trash can receptacle at the curb. And I also would like to show, I have a screenshot of the garbage account showing no active service.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Thank you, sir.
As of today, I did receive an email from the respondent, which she stated that the account was paid in full. But I confirmed with customer service, they have not received anything as of today. So therefore, the property remains out of compliance. So I do believe that she sent it, but however, Temple Terrace has not received it as of today. So I
Okay.
think if you give her another 30 days, she should be fine with that.
Okay. Again, just to mention that the petitioner is not present. Any questions?
I have a question, just for my own edification. You keep referring to the garbage account. Isn't it all one? I mean,
Well, no, this is the Tampa Water,
oh, she has Tampa Water, okay.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha, okay,
okay?
all right.
So I I should mention that in my testimony, but I don't.
Okay,
That's where you found a whole bunch of people who didn't.
That's correct.
okay.
That's correct.
So all she
I've
needs
been-
is, all
I've
she
been-
needs is a trash account.
That's correct.
Okay, she
Which
said
was-
she sent the check, and we just haven't got it yet.
Right.
Okay.
So just to advise the board, the payment for their sanitation account is $26 per month.
Okay.
So I believe that if you come up with a reasonable fine, I would cap it, the fine at whatever you feel as though is appropriate. But
And she's been in violation since February of this year?
she's been out of compliance since she purchased the house in April of 2016.
16,
Right.
2 years.
Well, yeah, but that was, the same thing happened to me when I bought my house. I mean, I went to City Hall and I got my recycle bins, and they just never sent me a bill for it, and I thought I was good to go. So I didn't find out until 3 or 4 years later that, because I'm on Tampa Water too.
Right.
So
So
that.
you thought
that-
when you paid your Tampa water bill, you were paying your trash bill?
It was, I thought I was fine.
A
I
lot
went to
of-
the
a lot
city,
of
I set an
homeowners
account up,
think
I
that
did
way.
everything. I had 2 special pickups in 3 years
Yeah.
that I called the city and never did I get a bill. So I thought that the city would have said something sooner, and then I get a bill for like, I don't know, $1,000.
And
So-
that's how it was all discovered. We had a resident that called in for a special pickup, but they don't even have a garbage account, so Public Works notified us.
Okay.
And then I did some homework as far as checked every property in the northern zone, and I came up with about 40 properties.
That's
So-
usually how these are discovered, is that somebody does a trash pickup or a bulk. They're once
In
a
this,
year
in this
thing.
case, in this case, that's how it was discovered. So, this is the first time in 12 years that we've had a garbage account presented to the code board, so.
So so are you considering this case complied or
No,
still open?
no, it's still out of,
Okay.
it's still out of compliance. But again, the account is $26 per month. That's what a resident pays for a garbage account. So I mean, I would probably, like I said, cap it at a reasonable amount of $500. That's my opinion. Right?
It would be a retroactive $26 for the time that she hasn't had it but has had her trash picked up, is what you're.
Well, if she doesn't, if she fails to come into compliance by 30 days, by the next meeting, a fine of, say, $10 per day will be presented by your discretion, and then a cap of $500.
So
Because
there's no retroactive, even though she hasn't had an account for 2 years, you don't go.
I would
I
not,
wouldn't go there.
I would not,
And most likely that was part of her bill, was because for me, that's what it did.
Right.
I had to pay the $26 a month for retroactively 3 years or something. So
I'm pretty confident she's gonna come
Yeah.
in compliance.
So it doesesn't matter what we charge her for days?
Well,
Right.
it does matter, though.
All right, let me give it a shot.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barone.
Okay.
Director Barone.
In case number 19-1110, City versus Jessica Montgomery, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 12908 Rainforest Street. And the violation is Section 22-91, City Garbage Service Required. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officers, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violations, all which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violations be corrected on or before June 12th, 2019. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that date, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continued past the date set for compliance. Upon consideration of the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $10 per day with a maximum amount of $500 to be accrued if this property is not coming to compliance.
Second.
Motion and second by Mr. Hubert. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Not Mr. Buckley, by the way.
Mr. Buckley?
Yeah, it was myself,
Oh, okay.
the second, yeah.
Well, I can't tell the two of you. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays.
Next case, case number 191241, City versus Mondido for property located at 8750 Morrison Oaks Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 103B, sanitation grass weeds. Case will be prosecuted by Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. Excuse me. This case originated proactively by me on March 5th, 2019. My inspection on that date revealed overgrown conditions. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of March 11th, 2019. My inspection on March 26, 2019 showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on March 28th with a compliance date of April 4th, 2019. I hand-delivered the notice to the occupant on site, who identified himself as Mr. Doe. The notice was also posted at City Hall, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on April 15th, 2019 revealed the site was not in compliance, and the notice of hearing was prepared on April 17th, and the case was scheduled for the May Municipal Code Board meeting. I have had no contact from the property owner or their representative, and no one is present here tonight. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the site taken by me on March 28th, 2019.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exhibit number 1 shows the overgrown conditions. The photo really does not do the violation justice, as we as code officers are limited on the areas we can access for inspections or photos. At this time, the site is not in compliance, and I'm requesting a ruling.
How recent was that photo? I'm sorry.
March 28th, I believe. So it's another 2 months or almost.
It's my understanding it has to be 12 inches or higher, and this confirmed definitely over 12.
Yes, sir. 12 inches is pretty high.
Yeah. Well, in summer it can be,
It can go
it
fast.
can happen quickly.
You said the picture can't do it justice, so I guess what are we not seeing in the picture? then?
Well, it's just, it's higher looking than what, just the distance
Okay.
from where I was able to get to and the lighting and this and that. It just doesn't really show how high it really is. And like I said, that's almost 6 weeks old at this point in time, so.
Okay.
So it still wasn't cut in the last 6 weeks, so it's,
Okay, so it's 6 weeks higher.
it's 6 weeks higher.
Any further,
Mr. Mom couldn't be reached for any comment?
He hasn't, he just took the piece of paper and said okay or something, and that was, that's about it. He hadn't called me back, he hadn't done anything, didn't show up tonight, obviously. Yeah, I kind of thought when I left him the notice of violation that would make him cut the grass, and then when I took him the notice of hearing, I thought that would make him cut the grass, but apparently it didn't.
6 week taller. Any other comment, questions?
No, sir.
A motion? There being none, thank you, Mr.
I'll make the motion.
Allen.
In case number 19-1241, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence that the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 8750 Morrison Oaks Drive. The applicable code sections are Section 10-3, subsection B, sanitation, grass, and weeds. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violations, all which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before June 12, 2019. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that date, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance. Upon consideration of the following factors: 1, the gravity of the violation; 2, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation; and 3, any previous violations committed by the violator. I move that the fine be $50 per day until the property is brought into compliance.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? There being none, Note to the record that the petitioner was not present at this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays.
Next case, case number 191404, City versus Tasang Associates LLC for property located at 8504 Shirley Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 12921, parking residential property. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. City is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served. And that's 8604 Shirley Drive.
Good evening, board members. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on March 12, 2019. My inspection at the time noted the yard grass was overgrown with vehicles parked on the yard grass. This time I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of March 16, 2019. Reason I did not leave door hangers at this time because I had repeated numerous door hangers that I've left there for parking violations. I posted the notice at the front door of the residence as well as City Hall, also mailed copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner. I re-inspected the property on March 18th, and the property was now in compliance. The yard grass was cut and no vehicles were parked on the grass. So I brought the case into compliance. On April 6th, 9th, 15th, and 16th, 2019, I saw vehicles parked on the yard grass again. Since it was within the 45 days, I set it for the Code Enforcement Board hearing. This time I would like to submit 5 photographs. Photograph number 1 is going to be the notice posted at the front door. 2 through 5 is going to be the vehicles parked on the yard grass at the residence.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted to the record.
Thank you.
As of today's date, the property is in compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Without objection, the evidence will be admitted into the record.
Thank you.
This time, I'm just asking for a finding.
I'll give it a shot.
No more questions?
Oh, sorry.
Any questions? Okay.
All right. In case
Thank you,
some-
Mr. Officer Silva.
In case number 191404, I move that the city is proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code that exist on property located at address, thank you, 8604 Shirley Drive, section 12-921, parking residential property. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer and other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Blah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay? No nays.
Back to unfinished business. Case number 185554, City versus U.S. Bank National Association for property located at 7911 Shore Bluff Court. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 190054, City versus Safe Haven Property Investors for property located at 314 Springdale Place. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 190280, City versus TAH 2017 1 Barrer LLC for property located at 8604 Grandview Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Silva dated May 6, 2019 for section 12861E6. And then down to other board action, the first lien reduction petition, that has been pulled.
Is that pulled for this evening or pulled?
Pulled,
That's
Thank
50
you.
5301 Rainbow Drive?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, in order to kind of clean up some of these housekeeping matters under the unfinished business, the first item at 12609 North 52nd Street, and then the last item there at 11001 to 03 North 56th Street. Again, these were items you continued and gave continuance to June 11th, 2019, which
Should be
you are
June.
in effect giving a new deadline of June 11th, 2019. My recommendation would be to make a new motion for it to be June 12th, so that the new deadline date is June 12th, one for each of these. I think the clerk would appreciate that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In case number 19-1067, I move that we modify the previous motion to extend the deadline until June 12th, 2019.
Second.
Second. Motion, second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay? No nays.
I think I did the
Okay.
second one. So in case number 19-1067, I move that we extend the date of compliance deadline to June 12th, 2019.
Second.
Motion, second. Discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? No nays. Any new business? Mr. Barone, Director Barone, do you have a?
Hard to believe, but I don't have anything to do. Hard to believe.
Okay. City Attorney, any comments? Thank you. Mr. Board Attorney.
I will go ahead and make those changes on the lien reduction motion so that it all reflects as a lien reduction, not final.
Very good.
And I'll email that to the clerk, who then will get it to the members of the board.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations on your first night.
Yeah, thank you. It was everything I dreamt it would be.
Well, that's good. And more, and more. Thank you. The motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Or-